Dank pod stash hot tokes 9.5. This is a special Dank pod stash hot tokes due to news from Virginia. We're letting this out early today. Actually, we're recording it early today. And I got Daniel Johnson and Andrew Cosgrove here. Andrew's in Virginia, so we got a man on the ground, boots on the ground, helping us know what's going on in the situation over there. So let me, real quick, before we get to the conversation, I'm looking at this article. It's from Vice that's going around. There are other sources. I know people have been complaining about Vice being the source of this, but you can fucking Google it, people, and you'll find other sources if you don't like the one that everybody else is sharing. Jesus Christ. But so the headline here says Virginia declares state of emergency after armed militias threatened to storm the Capitol. And the governor said law enforcement had intercepted extremist rhetoric similar to the lead up to Charlottesville, day before pro-gun activists are holding a rally. So, of course, they're likening it to Charlottesville to try to paint it in a bad light, try to paint themselves as the good guy. And then I believe somewhere in here, too, they mentioned the word boogaloo. There it is. It says, what's more, armed militia groups are also planning to attend, and some have even described the event as a boogaloo, a term that the far right uses to describe a second civil war. So these dirty fucks are trying to paint it any bad way that they can. Go ahead, Daniel.
A boogaloo is a civil war? Like what? Okay. I honestly, I don't. I'm catching up to the situation. I only heard about this today. You sent me, or I think I saw. Yeah, you sent me the article, and I did not read it entirely. So I have a lot of questions.
Well, let's see. What are you thinking, Andrew? Andrew, how's it going over there? What is everybody talking about? Was the article pretty much everybody in Virginia's first notion of this, or was there something else that happened, or were you guys ready for this kind of response?
It actually did take me by surprise. Just for clarification, a state of emergency, in case anyone doesn't know, a state of emergency allows a governor or government to implement something instantly that they normally wouldn't be able to do. So they've declared a ban of firearms or any type of weapon at the Capitol building. Like I mentioned when we were messaging, I'm gonna do a little recon on the pages tonight, see what they're talking about. I already saw that some people are just straight out saying they're just going to defy it, which, that's kind of what we want, really. Mm-hmm. So it looks like we're still going to have people going, which, I mean, at least that's good, at least.
Yeah, for sure. You had mentioned before, too, that people were responding negatively to the idea of people showing up in full kit. They were saying just to show up in plain clothes, or what's with that? Are people trying to go there and not ruffle any feathers? That's a tar and feather joke, by the way.
Well, that's part of the problem with this whole thing from the beginning. You've got people like us who are ready for kickoff, basically. Mm-hmm. They're ready for it to go, from 0 to 100 at this event or because of this event. And then you've got, let's just call them the Trumpsters, who they're trying to be completely peaceful. They don't want to ruffle any feathers at all. So it's not just the issue of the event itself, is that the people attending have different ideas in mind.
Right. Daniel,
and
I think,
like I mentioned, so that's been a problem since the beginning.
For sure. Daniel, you had questions when we've talked previously on where the loyalties of the Trumpsters lie, right?
Oh yeah. Like, you and I have talked about this pretty deeply. I think that there tends to be this feeling that when it comes to the right, the general feeling is that you may be able to persuade the right more than the left to side with you in situations like this. And we haven't really argued about it, but my stand has been I don't know if that's the case because of the right support of the police state. And my worry there, I definitely don't think that you will get any support from the Trump supporters. I think they're lost. I think they're total bootlickers. You have people like the guy from Hoplite Armor, who he's definitely more conservative, and he's someone who I think you could align with. But as far as somebody who's a Trump supporter, that version of conservative, I think you're not going to get any loyalty there. You're going to, I think they're going to be very dangerous. I think they're going to be possibly more dangerous than those on the left, because those on the left kind of want to see you could kind of convince them to burn the government down, but the ones on the Trump supporters, they definitely don't want to do that. I do have a question, Andrew.
Go for it.
Like, what guns what guns exactly has he banned? Is it all guns? What types or styles?
Are you talking about at the Capitol on the 20th?
Yeah, is it all guns?
It's not just guns. It's all weapons of any kind are banned.
And so
yes, all guns.
What is the plan to open carry all guns? Is that the plan from the protesters, just open carry all guns?
Well, see, that's part of what I was mentioning earlier is you've got, we'll just call them the Trumpsters, who from the beginning, when this started to get planned, they were conceal only, or they still are conceal only, don't open carry, don't be in kit, don't have body armor on, all that stuff. And then you've got, again, people like us who we want to ruffle the feathers. We want to show them, you're not going to do this to us. So we don't just have a clash of us and the police or us and the government. We've got a clash of the people attending.
Interesting. So why are the Trump supporters even wanting to show up then? Like, what are they planning to accomplish if they're just going to bend over?
I guess they just want to show numbers or something, but we have peaceful protests all the time. What do they accomplish?
Nothing.
We still get stomped on by laws. I mean, they don't do anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We have to.
Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
I mean, we have to show them that we're serious, and showing up with a lot of numbers is cool. That makes me feel good that there are people out there, but it doesn't show them anything. You have to defy them, and you have to do it directly and in their face.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What were you going to say, Daniel?
Are there any counties that have agreed to enforce this gun ban?
Well, it depends on what you mean, because I think last time I checked, I think we're at like 90% of counties have declared themselves sanctuary counties. But what does that actually mean? I mean, does that actually do anything?
Fuck, I don't know.
In my opinion, it doesn't, because they're saying, oh, law enforcement won't enforce these laws. Well, if they were pro Second Amendment or just gun rights in general, like they claim, why have they been enforcing gun laws this whole time? Why now? Why now are they going to be on our side?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting too. There's a lot of people saying that they think this is a soft test for the rest of the nation. See how it goes in Virginia and then expand from there. And we've seen the legislation already expanding to places like Georgia, banning all semi-automatic weapons is what they want to do, including sporting and hunting rifles. It's just traveling. There's red flag laws spreading. There was an interesting story today too about a woman who red flagged a cop who shot someone I think related to her who was carrying a knife. That was pretty funny, using it against a cop. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's a testing ground? And do you think, because my prediction has been that the boogie's kicking off in Virginia. Since all this started rumbling, I think it's going to kick off. I got faith in you Virginians to fuck shit up, and I got faith in people to show up and back you guys up. But I want to know what you guys think, because I've also heard that there's full of bootlickers in Virginia as well, including people like the Trumpsters. And then there's a lot of people saying that it won't, that people will fold, that people won't go for it, that won't do what you're saying and show them forcefully that you're not going to take it. What are the odds looking like?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that makes me feel better is I've seen a lot of people from out of state saying that they'll come.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the odds in terms of how the state is split between, you know, supposed gun rights activists, I don't think it's very good because of, you know, the original organizer of the event was similar to what we mentioned earlier in not full kit, peaceful, blah, blah, blah. So that was the original organizer. So that obviously does not make me feel good. But if people are serious and they're really going to come out of state to be a part of this, that definitely makes me feel better.
Hell yeah. That's a long ways from where I'm at. That's across the damn country. But fuck, if I've always said, and my wife hates it. I know, we'll meet. I've always said,
we'll meet in Kansas City, we'll get some barbecue, and then we'll keep heading east.
I love it. If it kicks off, my wife's gonna be pissed because I keep telling her I'm gonna go. If the Borthers need me, I'll be there. But
well, some irony is that a few weeks ago, you know, of course, like I mentioned to you, I'm fearful of this. I don't want to go to war. And so of course my wife is scared, more scared than me. A few weeks ago we were talking about it, and she asked me a similar question: if this were to happen states away, would you go? And now it's not states away; it's right here.
Right,
it's right here.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's interesting that this is going down in Virginia. Virginia is full of people who love their guns. It has a deep history of you know, people that cherish their guns. And I think if they were to be successful in Virginia, it would be very worrisome if they were to be like, oh, now we can do it anywhere.
I absolutely agree with that, because, you know, like you said, there's thousands of me's here. You know, more than we probably know, honestly. So you're right. If they can do it here, they can do it anywhere. And, you know, we always, a lot of us joke about how California is the testing grounds for the nation. And it almost seems like, okay, well, let's not do it there. Let's do it somewhere where we're going to get at least some resistance and see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah. California's already been neutered. So maybe that was the experiment through legislation and watching how people fold just to straight up legislation, and now they're doing the escalation tactics to see how they have to handle an actual uprising, if there is one, which I hope there would be. Fuck, man, it's wild, and like you said, I would hate to see war. We'd all hate to see war, but it seems like that they're bringing it. You know, this isn't people trying to run and overthrow the government to install whatever they want. This is government infringing on people to the point where people don't feel comfortable, which is the only thing that's going to get people off their asses and fighting back, is loss of comfort.
I think it's a fact. I think it should be, people should understand that it's an indisputable fact that the government, when they want to do these things, they have intentions to implement more tyranny at a level that you know we haven't seen yet. And I don't know. I think a lot of times we get complacent because, you know, this country has a lot of guns. I think that's why so many people are complacent, and they're like, oh, we're the freest country in the world. And I'm like, is it just because we have guns? Because, you know, you just let things slide here and there, and then once they do take the guns, what are you going to do? I don't know. We'll see. I think their intention is to implement like a more authoritarian state. Yeah.
So it's
Virginia's,
what's the talk with, because when all this originally started hitting the internet and getting out there, they also it was said that they wanted to ban, what was it, self-defense down to like martial arts classes and stuff. Is that still on the ticket?
Some stuff got voted on not to go through. I mean, it's still got three more levels to go through. And I'd have to reread the article again to see what went through and what didn't. But yeah, that is definitely something they were talking about. It's not just, down to martial arts. If you are teaching someone self-defense to, I can't even remember how they worded it, but militia style training is basically how they said it. Then that is going to be considered a crime. So basically, I mean, how can this be interpreted? If I take my wife out to the property and teach her to shoot, am I breaking the law? Am I a felon now? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
That's how I read it. That's what it sounds like to me as well.
Yeah.
It's so arbitrary and subjective.
Well, and two, I know we talk kind of a lot about left and right and who's on whose side and whatnot, but no matter which way it goes, far right or far left, it can still be an authoritarian state that we end up in. And people need to remember that and quit picking fucking sides against each other and pick the side that's against government. There's a meme that's probably gone around for a really long time. It says something like, your freedoms aren't, where are they disappearing? They're being taken by people with names and addresses. That's the bottom line. And that's what people need to remember. And, around this and around any Second Amendment bullshit or boogaloo stuff, whatever, you always get people saying you're never going to take on the might of the U.S. government. That's why you look at the people with the names and addresses. That's why nothing will work short of a nuke, because they need boots on the ground. So people remember that, and remember to help your Borthers in Virginia if it comes down to it, and we'll meet you there. Let's call that a fucking Hot Tokes 9.5, guys. I appreciate that. Anything else on the way out, boys?
I just
bring your
want to say
Hawaiian
one thing.
shirts.
Go ahead.
What'd you say, Daniel?
I said, bring your Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Oh. I just want to throw one thing in there. I want people, if you don't take anything else away, understand that you need to be prepared beforehand, because this is going to come, it's going to seem like it's going to come out of nowhere, and then you're not going to be ready. I mean, even me, I have a few things that aren't ready yet because complacency sets in. You don't think it's ever going to get there, and then it's there. You don't have everything you need. So I just want anyone listening to this, if you're not ready, get ready.
Damn right.
Absolutely.
Should be ready yesterday. Hashtag Boogaloo ready in these days. But prepping isn't just for nuts. It's a fucking lifestyle. You should always be fucking ready. And you're right. It never seems like it's like you've done it enough or quickly enough. But all right, dudes. Thanks for coming on Dank Podstash Hot Tokes number 9.5. Andrew, hopefully we'll get you back for a full-length Podstash after the rally, if you're not too busy fucking up Fed boys, honestly. So take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching Hot
Sounds
Tokes.
Good.
You all get this one for free. Usually it comes out on Monday for Dank Podstash dollar patrons, but this is a bonus, so enjoy and think about that Patreon. If you want to join up there, patreon.com/thedankpodstash. See y'all later.